Welcome. Come in.
Hey everybody, we're here at the home and surf hostel extraordinaire of pioneering surfer Carwyn Williams. Carwyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Man, you are a total legend around these parts. Where do you come from and how'd you get into surfing?
Basically, I grew up in South Wales in a little place called Mumbles, and I was just skateboarding with my friend, and we lived on a hill towards the beach, and one day we just happened to see a few surfers in the water in black wetsuits, white surfboards, look nothing, grey, and we were watching them going, wow, that looks just like what we're doing here, so let's try it. And pestered my parents for a surfboard, got one for my birthday, £30. Didn't have a wetsuit, so we shared it with me and my friend with rugby shorts and rugby tops, and I'd make him go first because he'd have to wait for me because then we'd carry the board back.
Fantastic.
And I didn't stand up for 6 months. I just used to go in and freeze for 10 minutes and just didn't have a clue, but loved every minute of it, got addicted straight away.
And how old were you at that time
I
when you
was
first started?
13, I think, when I got my surfboard, and 14 when I got a wetsuit.
Fantastic. And you went from there to being we said pioneering surfer. You were one of the first Europeans.
I was really lucky because that generation, we found waves. I mean, we found secret spots on the Gower Peninsula where I grew up that no one knew about for years. And it was when my friend got a car, we'd go and find these waves. We'd just look at ordnance survey maps and it's not rocket science. We did some walks and we found waves, and we were really lucky to have that time when there was nobody surfing. We'd go surfing and we'd know there was no one going to be out. We'd have to hide cars and walk, and it was pioneering stuff. There was nobody surfing, like in the places we used to go to. And then before I knew it, I did a couple of contests. I did 17, I did my first professional contest, came second.
And where was that?
In Newquay.
Okay.
I won 350 quid in cash.
Fantastic.
In £5 notes, and just went, yep.
You were thinking, this is good.
Yeah, and I was like, they said, are you going to be professional? I was like, this is professional, this is what I'm going to do.
I'm in.
Yeah.
And that was the start of it all?
That was the start of it all, yeah. Basically, I won that 3 times running, and then that was when the surfing professional circuit started in Europe. I was lucky it was just at my time, and I mean, I wish I was born now, because it's a bit different, but in those days it was just enough to make a living well, not really a living, it was just enough to get by and cruise around. It started in Britain, and then it with one contest in France, and then over the time it became more France, Spain, Portugal, with one contest in Britain, and I went with it, yeah.
And I'm assuming at that time you didn't have the big pro sponsorships.
No. I was living in cars, and even I lived in a car for 5 seasons because it was a nice car. I bought a BMW for £1,000, and I was going to sell it that day in the pub because for more money. And ended up living in it for 5 seasons because it had really good bass speakers. And the really funny thing was when I actually got a van, I was like, why didn't I get a van earlier? I was like, I can stand up, it's brilliant. But basically, yeah, I lived in, and even when I traveled the world, I was buying cars in different places and living in them because that was the only way you could do it. When I first went to Hawaii, I got there and I looked at hotels, $100, hire a car like $40 a day, whatever it was. I had $400 in my pocket, and I stayed in Hawaii for 3.5 months.
No way, on $400. That's impossible.
I know, and I lived in a car for a long, long time, for 6 weeks. And then I found a house, a brilliant house off the wall, and the guy actually said, listen, he found me sleeping in my car outside. He was like, can you do me a favor, just look after my house. Don't let anyone in there, just be here. And I helped him around the house, and I got work labouring jobs from his mates, and just, I got paid like, a couple of bucks, $20, $30 a day or something, whatever it was at the time, which was enough. Then I'd surf for a couple of days, and I'd go and do a day's work and surf for a couple of days. And yeah, 3.5 months later I left. I arrived with 400 quid.
You are kidding. So on the days you were traveling around the European circuit, who were the guys that you were surfing against and traveling with and sharing this experience?
Basically, I traveled by myself, or actually with a really good friend of mine at the time. But I mean, there was a couple of South Africans at the time and Australians that were doing the European circuit because they were the better surfers. But there was like the Spencer Hargreaves were coming through, and the Russell Winters, they came through a bit later on. But there's Grishka Roberts, where I was competing against him. But my main competitors were South Africans and Australians, who could, with their British passports, could do all that. And
I see. Okay.
That was my main rivalry back in those days, which pushed me a bit because they were actually better than the Europeans. I was supposed to be the best European surfer, but I was pushed a bit by some of these guys because they were quite good. Shappy Jennings came and became a thorn in my side for a couple of years, and it was just a lot of fun. I remember it being a lot of fun. It was like pure back in those days, and it's a bit too professional now. But, it was surfing back then. It was all about surfing. Now it's all about competition, which is a bit sad, really.
Yeah, tell me more about that. I mean, back in the day, it was...
Yeah, it was surfing. It was. I mean, I travelled to surf. I didn't travel to compete. I mean, I knew I was a good surfer, but I knew the only way to travel was competing. And so that's why I competed. But now people just compete.
Right.
And they take for granted all this travelling they've got, and they don't get the experiences. They've got trainers, they've got sports psychologists, they've got coaches, they got... Where's the fun?
Right.
Where's all the fun gone?
It's a business now.
Business, and you can't do this and you can't do that. And back in the day, it was like rock and roll and surf.
and that's what I understand. It was the party aspect was just as big
yeah,
as the
of
surf
course, because
aspect.
you'd meet people and you'd go surfing with them and you'd party with them. That was the way it was, and then you compete with them.
Right.
But I mean, it was all about the family. It was like a big family, and the more people you got to know, the more drunk you got with them, and and it was just a nice time, really.
Brilliant.
It was a very nice time.
Do you stay in touch with any of those guys still?
Not really, no. I never stayed in touch back in the day,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I find it hard to, I was the last person to get a mobile phone. I still can't use a computer. I'm not very, you can find me, you find me.
But having said that, people tend to find you. You're
well, it's amazing.
Your surf hostel here
Yeah,
is
well,
super popular.
Even yesterday, it was so funny. A guy called Satan came around the corner. We know him as Satan. He's a good guy.
When Satan shows up, you know you're in trouble.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a...
Not today!
It's like, no. But no, I didn't say no. He's like, oh, yes, like, cool. But unannounced, you never know who's going to come around the corner.
You embraced Satan. Come on in, have a beer.
Have a case of beer. But no, you just never know who's going to come around the corner. And because a lot of my friends are a bit like me, especially from the old days, excuse me, they don't phone and tell you they're coming or anything, they just turn up. It's something that we went through back in the day, that you didn't like organise anything, you didn't write anything down, you didn't, you just did it. And there's quite a few people I know are still a bit the same.
Yeah. But does that lead to, kind of a hectic lifestyle? Those guys, they come in, they party for a couple of days and they leave, and another crew shows up. They go home and rest.
Yeah.
But
my mother's a bit worried about that. And to tell you the truth, yeah, it is getting harder. It's getting harder as I get older.
Seriously, huh?
It is. It's funny. And now I've built this bar, this was going to be a gym.
The Taffy Dog Bar.
Yeah, it was going to be. I was going to build a gym here, and I thought, I'm getting old now, so I'll make a bar. And it's been really actually good fun. I mean, stuff like this would be good, but I wish I'd had a dictaphone here for the last couple of years. Because some of the stories, my friends come from like top surfers, top snowboarders, top skaters. They love coming here because we're out of the way. No one can see you. You can do what you want. And it's quite funny.
It's a brilliant place. The house has tons of room. There's a pool. There's great people just kicking out.
Beautiful girls. Yeah, it's a nice touch. Yeah, I mean, this is what I did. It was hard for me to retire, as it were, because I never knew what I was going to do. I got no qualifications. I didn't know what to do, Billabong said they're going to stop paying me when I was 40. They actually stopped when I was 42, so I did pretty well.
You did pretty well, hey?
Yeah. I'm 46 now, so the last 40 years has been a bit of a shock, like, oh, what do you mean I got no money? But this is what I've done, which is it's not like working. I've carried the dream, like I still can go surfing when I want. I can play golf. I can go skateboarding. I can do what I want. Apart from I've got to pay bills and stuff, which is a little bit stressful because they were paid for me before. But I mean, yeah.
Going back a little bit, you were the first European you won the first European championship.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
At the time.
And it just happened, like I say, it all grew around at the same time as I was here. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was lucky that if I was born a couple of years earlier, I wouldn't have been here now. Everything grew with me, so I went and happened to win quite a lot of it, and I just kept going. And yeah, like I say, now I've got this.
You were talking about the differences between the surfing back then and the surfing now. If you'd been born several years later, do you think you would have fit into this the pro surfing lifestyle?
Well, I don't really fit in anywhere, anyway. But I would have had a place without any doubt. I would have definitely had my spot. I mean, I'm quite honoured that I had my spot anyway, because I can travel the world. I travelled the world when I got into the world circuit, and for some reason, because I was Welsh, I'm not English. I'm Welsh. And I'd go and that would break down doors, barriers, people in Hawaii, no, you're not Australian, no, Welsh, where's Wales, and then next thing you got a story and then you're in, and I did the same in Australia and Japan, or wherever I went, it was something different.
Right.
And people like that, and that's what helped me a lot, let alone I could surf pretty good. But just being Welsh was a real sort of like, it started conversation, and as soon as you start talking, you become friends.
Right. And you're Welsh, doing really well on the tour. Where is the next generation of Welsh or British surfers?
There was Russell Winter after me, who actually did one step better than me. I mean, I had my injury. I was really disappointed that I had
Tell me about the injury. You were doing really
yeah,
well
I was
on the
doing really
tour?
well, and I was actually in Mundaka, and I was actually supposed to go from Mundaka to Jeffreys Bay. I was going to get picked up by a beautiful girl in Jeffreys Bay, in Durban, taken to Jeffreys Bay for a contest, down to Durban for a contest. And then I crashed on the motorway just up here before Bordeaux. Over, you know, like doctor said, never surf again. Second decision, never surf again. Then my girlfriend from over there came over to see, met my girlfriends in Wales. And by that time, I'd just gone to France to take this film. I had to keep moving anyway, just because I had things to do. And yeah, it went horribly wrong. I mean, I was a real bad time in my life. I believed that I'd never surf again, and that was difficult because my parents were going, "Oh, you've done really well, you know, that was really cool. Now what are you going to do?" I said, "Oh, no, I got no qualifications. I don't know, you know, maybe I'm going to have to have a surf shop." So I was thinking about having a surf shop, and it was breaking my heart, you know. And lucky that's when Taff came into my life, this dog. The only reason that really stopped me being super depressed, because I was right on the edge of real bad, was a little puppy. And you know, puppies are always happy, aren't they?
Right.
Dogs are always happy, and that dog's pretty much saved my life. And then I just thought one day, I was in a disco and people were asking me, how's your leg, and I'd be going, you know, it's fact. So I'd say that 100 times a day, and it's fact, isn't it? And one day I was in a disco and this guy asked me, how's your leg, and I was like, it's fact, fuck off, you know. And then this other guy came up to me and went, hey, you're his hero. You just really pissed him off. And I was like, I walked home and I was crying all the way home. And I decided to change what I said on that day. I said, every time someone asked me, I went, it's getting better. And it really helped. And 100 times a day, it's getting better. And all of a sudden, you know, I was like, oh, getting better. Started training again, you know, and that was how I got back. You know, I didn't believe I'd do it, but I was saying I was. And all you say it 100 times a day, 100 times, you know, all of a sudden, and I did it.
And you bounced back.
It took me a year. I trained really hard for a year, like all day, every day, 7 days a week, from like 10 till 4, 5 in the afternoon, all day, every day, because I had nothing else to do, and it was better than drinking and stuff and being depressed. And I found myself coming back, yeah, and I made the first 6 finals. I came second in the first contest I came back into, and I won European events again, never really got onto the world stage again, which is what I really wanted to do, but that never happened. But I can't, I mean, everything happens for a reason. You got to look at it that way. And,
absolutely.
And I got this, and if I'd have got any bigger, maybe I'd have had a big head and become a twat or something, I don't know. I mean,
I doubt that.
I just don't know.
I've got a really important question for you. I'm out of beer. Do you got another beer over there for
me? Of course. Cheers.
Cheers. No, Carwyn, it seems like you've given your whole life to surfing. What has surfing given back to you?
I don't know what I'd done if I wasn't a surfer. I would have probably been a rally car driver, because I like driving fast.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, how the hell are you supposed to get into that? And that's like a lot of money, isn't it? But it's given me my life. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was a skateboarder, and then I started surfing, and then I just followed my dream, which was to go surfing, and I'm still surfing. Money sometimes can be hard, because I've been so used to getting given it, and now you don't get given it anymore. Shit. But apart from that, I mean, I've got you know, it's a book. It's definitely a book.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So you're short of money, but you've got an overabundance of other things.
Oh,
what
yeah,
are some of those things?
My life, have you seen my garage? It's full of boards. I get given, I mean, the other day I got given a skateboard from my friend in America. And
how many friends do you have on your Facebook page?
3,500, I think. And I'm computer illiterate, and I've only just had that a year and a half. Yeah, it's really funny. I mean, I put some things on there sometimes, and I get some really nice responses. So I mean, I've got a lot of friends. I mean, a lot of friends around the world, and I can't fault that.
You know, you were talking about what else would I do if you know, if I hadn't had surfing. From what I understand, you're quite the ladies' man.
Oh, yeah, I wish.
You could have been a porn star, or you kind of got the porn star.
Do you know what?
Palace here.
Have you seen how this house is pink and everything? And I've thought about turning it into a brothel.
Well, you know.
But it's illegal, so don't mention that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I reckon I could run a brothel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad thing, would it? Porn star, it could be difficult sometimes. Think about it. It's going to be. This could be hard, or it could be not hard, if you know what I mean. But yeah, brothel, why not?
Going back to the ladies' man thing, I've heard there's been a few run-ins with the law and maybe public displays of affection, or.
Yeah. There's been a couple of moments. The golf club was a good one.
The golf club.
I got banned for
Hole in one?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I was with a guy from Australia. Actually,
You were with a guy from Australia.
Yeah, but Olympic, and two beautiful girls.
Okay, no, glad you added that.
I think the word was I got banned for an erect penis.
Okay.
At the bar.
By the golf club?
At the bar.
At the bar.
In the posh part of the bar, in the hotel, and everyone was having their dinner. And I don't really remember because I was, right out there with my friend and two beautiful girls. And he had to ban me for 3 months. But he said, next time you do something like that, tell me about it. But he had to ban me. I could still play golf and go to the clubhouse, but I wasn't allowed into the hotel.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is. I met a girl just the other day, and I hadn't seen her for 15 years, and she said, I remember one day in the Rock Food years ago, I just looked across and you were naked. And I was like, I sort of still do that sometimes. Don't know where it comes from or anything, but
that's why you've got so many friends on Facebook.
Yeah, I just don't understand where it comes from sometimes. But if I get really twatted sometimes, I just get naked.
Brilliant.
Call me a freak.
It's not a bad quality.
No, I like being naked. It's just sometimes I forget where I am.
So throughout your career, you've had some highs, you've had some lows. What is the absolute best surf session you've ever had?
Basically, it was here, 1988 it probably was. It was 1989. Anyway, back in the late 80s. I surfed against the world champion at the time. His name was Damien Hardman. I went for a free surf beforehand, snapped my board with my 6'9", quite a big surfboard. It was really big. Went into the contest area, scoped around, nicked a 7-footer, just stole a board.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take that one. And I paddled out and just smoked him. And it was really big. And I came in everyone was freaking, all the contests, all the surfers, all my peers were screaming and shouting. And I was like, whoa, my friends were all crying. And I was like, oh my God. And the TV came to my van, I was living in my van, and that was just overwhelming. And I walked down the beach and sat in between two tents and had a full adrenaline rush, right from my toes to my head and all the way back down again. And I'll never forget that. Never forget that.
Brilliant.
It's a good moment.
How about the other side of the coin? You talked about the breaking your...
No, the car crash, definitely.
The car crash?
I mean, broken heart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, breaking, there's no fun in falling in love, is there?
No.
It only ends in tears. But no, the accident was because I knew what I really wanted to do. I didn't want to be world champion. I wanted to win a world event.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to do, to be the best for that moment in time.
Right.
And I knew I could do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do. And I didn't get to achieve that. So that really hurt. I wanted to try and come back to that, but I never did. And yeah, it hurt me a lot at the time. I got pretty down at the time. But I did come back, but only to a certain level. But that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to show the world I was as good as I was better than anyone.
Right.
Just for that one I knew I could have done it. I didn't want to do it for the whole year and become world champion. I just wanted to do it for that one. I was training like a champion for all that time. I mean, the year I crashed, I woke up at midnight, like Mike Tyson, started training at midnight in Hawaii, and I was like, this is my year. Made the main event in Bells Beach, and then I made the main event in the Coke Classic, and from from Europe. That was amazing because it was the Aussie type going through the trials. And I was like, yeah, here we go. And then I had my car crash. Damn.
Have you ever had any sketchy moments in the water, like, oh my God, I'm going to die here?
Yeah, just the other day when I blew my eardrum on a boogie board in the shore break, being an idiot.
And you admit that on TV?
No, yeah, I didn't have flippers on or a leash, so not really boogie boarding. I just had I had a boogie board because it was just shore breaking, and I got slammed, and when you break a eardrum, I've done it before, but you just lose all your balance, and I lost the board and I'm stuck in the shore break, and I didn't know which way. It was like, whoa. And I was a bit nervous. That was just the other day. But of course, surfing is like that. I mean, like when I take my big board out, when I take my 8.6 and I surf really big waves here, I'm shitting myself, basically. Yeah. And especially as you get older, you're shitting yourself. Worst thing is about getting caught inside, and touch wood, I haven't been caught inside here for a long time now, but there's nothing worse than just knowing you're going to get that right here, and just nothing you can do. You can't get underneath it. You just got to there's nothing you can do. You just think, I'm going to die. And the amount of times I've thought that is, it's out of control. But because you think it, because you know it, you don't die, right? Because you know you're going to die. So you're that frightened You know it's over, and I think that gives you the relaxation to go through it.
And the relaxation is the key to surviving the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in Hawaii, I got told to look for a guy in a box and give him some money and pretend you're going on, well, not pretend, find the guy, there he is, and visualize it, you know, this is while you're getting hammered, just before you're getting hammered, this is the moment you think you're going to die. Find this guy, give him some money, and then you're going on an underwater fun park ride. And that calms you down. But I don't know where that guy is anymore. I just panic now. Well, in fact, like I say, I haven't been caught inside for a while. I mean, sometimes you fall off, you panic, but you haven't got time to think. You've got time to think when that thing's coming at you. You're like, oh no. In fact, it hasn't happened, and I don't really want it to happen anymore. Like I say, my friends are hanging up their big boards now at my age. There's a lot of friends. But I think I'll keep mine. Respect
for that. Tell me about Taffy Dog.
Yeah, he was, like I say, that dog saved my life. And that's why, I mean, I could get emotional talking about him, because I was really, really, really sad. Like really sad, crying, uncontrollably sad. And then when you get a dog, he's always happy, isn't he? I mean, they say, the definition of love, right? Lock your girlfriend and your dog in the boot of a car for a couple of hours and open the boot and see who's happy to see you. Right? I mean, that's the truth. And this dog was always happy, so it rubbed off on me, basically. And when he died, I put him here. I mean, my mother phoned me up, and I was here driving, and I was having a bit of a bad day at the time, but for other reasons. She's like, Taff's dead, and I was like, she was crying, and it's horrible to hear your mother cry. And I was like, I found myself going, it's just a dog, you know, and then I put the phone down and just lost it. Oh. And so I got him tattooed there, and then I thought, you know what, and I've made like 4,000 stickers now. They're all over the world, and I'm making clothes. And
it's a brand now.
It's a brand. Yeah, it's not really, you know, I haven't got a business mind, but yeah, I'm definitely trying to make my dog proud of me.
Yeah,
fantastic. You know, he's out there wagging his tail right now.
That's super cool. Yeah. We'll look forward to seeing what comes out of that.
Yeah, cool.
One last question. What's important?
Love of anything, family, friends, surfing. I'd say love. Or actually breathing is probably the most important thing.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. Fair enough.
Yeah, breathing. And beer.
Beer, love, and breathing.
Beer, love, and breathing.
Cheers to that.
All the best. Yeah.
Carwyn, thanks so much for joining us on EpicTV.
No, absolute
really appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Yeah. Thanks very much, boys.
Best of luck with the Surf Hostel.
Yeah, and best of luck with all your films and all those nice equipment you got there. Don't break it or don't lose it or don't go to Wales because they're going to nick it.